Big tragedy in the tent this morning. I just spilled my coffee all over. There's some dog in the general vicinity barking its head off. I got yelled at by somebody not too distant past for not liking dogs. And I was trying to explain, dogs come in like 3 varieties out here. One is the super aggressive ones you're worried are going to hurt you. The other are the super loud ones that come and just bark their head off and give you a headache. And then the others are the ones that come up and like slobber all over you. None of those give me any enjoyment. I did meet a rather nice cow yesterday, though. Sat there on a leash, blinked at me. Probably would have made a good burger. Those stakes are pretty much there just for show. The ground all around here is really rocky, so there was no getting anything in. But fortunately, my tent doesn't require that. Okay, back down to the road. I will complain about roadwalks sometimes as much as the next guy, but on mornings like this where everything's covered in a really heavy dew, it's a little nicer not having to go through the vegetation. My socks are actually soaked just from walking back to the road. So yeah, one of those super nice locals I was hoping to meet last night, I met this morning, which is okay. She let me fill up my water bottles at her house, so I'm carrying my full 2.5 liters because I figure fill-ups have been a little rare. There have been roadside creeks off and on. Some of them really were not accessible without getting really, really nasty bushwhacking for a ways down there. And others, especially around Malignant, looked like they actually had tidal flow coming in, so they would have been saltwater. And if you don't know, the Sawyer Squeeze, Katadine Bee Free, etc. have big warnings not to filter salt water because it'll ruin them. So I'm passing through a number of different little communities and things, but even the few restaurants that exist seem all to have closed for the season. For a coastal road, I haven't had much in the way of ocean views so far. Okay, so this is finally starting to feel coastal. I wonder if those lighter brown areas are shallows. Kind of seems like every time I get off trail here to go see something like, I don't know, a lighthouse, the walk ends up being longer than I expected. At least this view should be good. Okay, I'm kind of bummed I can't go up to the top. Oh well. So I'm just sitting here drying out the tent fly. So you see that body of land way out there? Thought that might be PEI. Nope, that would be Cape Breton. So my hopeful end to this entire thing would be way out there. But I'm going there the long way, of course. So there's a trail sign up here, but my route is once again the road. And to think this was the section that they told me to skip. This has been the best coastal view so far. Rocking it old school, just charged my phone off the front of a porch. Unfortunately, I didn't see water there, so oh well. So no hikers, but I have seen a few of those biker types. So I think I'm getting water here more from the novelty. It's right before a farm and there's this little spring. Kind of cool. Okay, I was just able to climb down those logs, find water. So now I'm good for the night. Go on for about another hour, find some place that doesn't look like active logging, which that's what it's been over to the left. So there are a bunch of side roads out here, and I am seeing fresh tracks, so that means I'm a little more careful with where I set up my stealth camps. Okay, home sweet home for the night. That little bit of light you can see in the back is the road, but there isn't anybody around here, so nice spot. Okay, well, maybe not nobody back here. It is a damn breezy morning out here. So I don't know what was going on, but I woke up in the middle of the night just with a splitting headache. Kept me awake, couldn't fall back asleep, all that. Took some ibuprofen, and either that or it just passed which I'm glad for because that was kind of miserable. I don't know what I was going to do if it was still going on this morning because that was pretty debilitating. I have a little less than 10 miles to get to Antigonish, however you pronounce it, today, which is a big city, which means grocery stores and anything I could possibly need. I am getting towards the end of my battery pack, so usually this is where I start aiming for a motel, but I don't really want to stop after 10 miles, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just bite the bullet and do that. I just want to be, making progress. I've still got hundreds of miles to go, and, as you can hear, the weather's could change at any time. So limited internet means I sometimes have to rely on, others back home to help me book things or look things up since it's a little difficult out here. So it looks like today I'm going to do about 14 miles, get to Antigonish, and stay in a hotel. That way I can fully recharge everything. Get another 2 days of food, and then I'll push on to Trail Angel Claire from the IAT's house, where I'm picking up the remainder of Dennis's box, and then from there, just keep hiking. Not too bad a spot, other than I just had trouble finding non-rooty ground. So the forecast for today is windy. Having spent a lot of time up above tree line in the Sierra, I usually joke that it's not counting as windy unless you have to account for wind drop when you're digging a cat hole, or filling a cat hole. How can I tell I'm far from home up here? I don't recognize the brands of the empty beer cans I see strewn along the side of the road. The scale of those turbines is really awesome, but I can't help but think back to Tehachapi on the PCT, where you see them the first time, you're like, oh my God, that's so cool, and then you spend 200 miles, it seems like, just walking through the middle of them to the point where you're like, oh God, not another turbine. Okay, that's a pretty small wind farm. Just the two, huh? So a few of these places have had these little huts right on the driveway. Kind of confused what they are. I mean, it looks like a bus stop, right? And unless their kids have to wait for the bus, maybe? I saw others elsewhere that were selling fruit, but these don't seem to have any signs or, shelving for that. Really bloody windy today. Okay, this is killing me. There's 2 breweries within a block, and here I am in the middle of the day with more hiking to do. Okay, so I actually saved myself about a half-mile hike because I found a drugstore in downtown that had enough to do a resupply. Generally, I was able to get everything I wanted. One exception is they didn't have nor rice sides, so I got these. They're wet, but that means I don't have to cook them. I didn't want to get something that required, 20 minutes of boiling just to save a little weight. So to my point a couple of days ago about not throwing away trash at every opportunity, that's what my trash over the last 3 or however many days came to. Okay, I was able to get my food resupply at a pharmacy, and I think I'm going to give up on food because the restaurants have been a little less than friendly. Kind of a weird vibe in this town for whatever reason. It's really pretty out here, just cold and breezy. Just another day on the trail. Okay, so I'm heading towards my motel, which is on the other side of that highway there. I think you can just barely see it. However, it looks like the actual route has me on the Trans-Canada Highway over here. So that's going to be fun tomorrow morning. Might see if I can do this frontage road to at least get most of the way. Pretty sure that's some sort of mining refuse pile, but looks kind of cool with all the trees, huh? Okay, so yeah, I pick up the trail on the other side of this water. Oh well, what's another busy traffic bridge crossing, right? Okay, this is going to be home sweet home for the night. And hopefully dinner. Okay, that was both the best steak I've had in a very long time and probably the only steak I've had in a very long time. Don't tell Taters, I don't think it was vegetarian.